Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take number one of two of the day. Today, we've got two incredible Tier 1 decks for you. The first by the White Wayne Brady. Then, we are going to look at Sizer's number one ranked deck with some of the best stats ever. Yes, it is a move list, but it's running at least a couple cards that you'll be a little surprised by. However, White Wayne Brady took the deck that sort of started being originated at the very start of the season, the Omega Sentinel version of Afflict C3, and turned it into this very, very powerful Bastion list that's capable of putting an absolute ton of power on the board. This is genuinely an excellent list. It is tier 1 on the Marvel Snap Zone list. Brady doesn't really do socials. He has a Twitter, but doesn't care about it. He urges you to check out twitch.tv/ParryManilow. The great Perry Manilow is one of the best variety gamers and the best at calling games in Marvel Snap. Genuinely a phenomenal streamer, and when we're checking out. Plus, if you're in his stream, you can ask Brady whatever you want about the deck. For this version of Cerebro 3, you can run Cerebro 3 without really any high series card, although I think we're very close to Bastion being a must for C3. But this version needs Bastion, US Agents, and Diamondback. Agony can be Bast. Your goal for Agony is fairly similar to that with Bast, except Agony saves you a little bit of space. You want to play your Cerebro or your Mystique on that Agony. Please do not play any other card on Agony. You will immediately lose. Jennifer Kale can be Sentinel. Kale is really solid here. Having an extra energy on demand is nice, but you can live without it. Makari can be Sentinel, Jeff, or Killmonger. Makari is truly exceptional here as well. A free 6 to 9 to sometimes 12 power is an awful lot on the board. All right, so Agony, as noted earlier, is here for Cerebro and Mystique. Turning Cerebro into a 3 makes Cerebro play as a 3/6, which is obviously fantastic. Same thing is basically true of Mystique, because the only thing you're usually copying with Mystique is, in fact, that Cerebro. That's obviously very strong in this list. Jennifer Kale gives you extra energy. The turn I actually most often want extra energy, personally, is 5, because that lets me play Bastion and a 2-drop, which is often very powerful if I got Cerebro out on turn 3 or 4. If I happen to draw Bastion, then Jennifer Kale gives me some extra optionality in how I play my turns. You're not against having an extra energy, obviously, on turn 6. It can allow you to do things like go straight into Agony, Cerebro, Mystique. That kind of thing is very powerful as well. Scarlet Witch is here for very hyper specifically the locations that give you positive power, the ones like Nidvillier that give you extra positive power. If a location gives you extra negative power, you are hoping for Luke Cage to provide the answer. Positive power, Scarlet Witch. Negative power, Luke Cage. Scorpion is an afflict card along with Hazmat. These are the cards that are meant to take power off your opponent's side of the board. They make Diamondback an absurdly, stupidly big card. Diamondback playing as a 3/6 that's also giving negative to multiple cards on the opposing side of the board is absolutely stupid. Scorpion, US Agent, Hazmat, Diamondback are this little 4-card package that lets this compete in this like sort of crazy points meta we're in right now. This deck, if the Red Skull deck doesn't get Red Skull to ruin your life, that allows this to really compete in that matchup. Cerebro and Mystique buff by a lot. We talked about Diamondback, we talked about Luke, we talked about Hazmat. Macaria's free massive power, and Bastion's main goal here is to copy your Cerebro. You will occasionally be fine copying your Diamondback, particularly if you know you have Hazmat and it is a game-winningly powerful card. I think that play is probably better after this strange OTA, Temporary Imbalance OTA is done, and there's more mid-rangey stuff around, but it is still a powerful play pattern to get an extra Diamondback if you know you're going to Hazmat on the board, especially and obviously if you have Luke Cage, so that it is just a negative to your opponent's side of the board, letting Hazmat play for like a million power on your side. So this is right now a tier 1 deck according to the Marvel Snap Zone tier list. If you'd like a look at the tier 1 decks Marvel Snap Zone's tier list, please make sure you check out yesterday's video. I took a bunch of time and went over the Marvel Snap Zone, the Untapped, and the KM Best versions of the Marvel Snap tier list. I went over all the tier 1 decks in each. For this list, you can drop Agony turn 1. You're not required to, but you can. Turn 2 is generally Scorpion, Jennifer Kale. Scarlet Witch only if a plus power location is present that you need to get rid of. Turn 3, we're going Cerebro on Agony for Bastion. We can also play Luke or Diamondback just fine here. Remember that like they're fine early plays. If Enchantress gets played, you're probably going to, on Luke, and there's a negative location, you're probably going to lose. But if you get Luke hit at the right time and you can protect Cerebro, that can also still be worth it. Bastion is your turn 4 play, obviously on Cerebro. Or you can go 2+2. This is a good spot to get out Kale. Make sure you get out Kale. This is a good spot now that you've seen all the locations to drop your Scarlet Witch if you need to. If all the locations are good, please don't play Scarlet Witch. From there, we've got Cerebro to set up Mystique and US Agent. Cerebro to set up a copy with Mystique or US Agent. You can also start setting up your Hazmat or Diamondback stuff this turn. Turn 6, Cerebro and Mystique, or with Diamondback or with Hazmat, and then you usually win the game. This is a wildly confusing deck to play against, and it takes a lot of advantage of being very hard to know exactly what your opponent's going to do. Not only are they buffing their board, they're debuffing yours, and that turns this into an absolute crazy amount of points. This is, and he's going to get mad at me for saying this, I think this is the most meta Brady deck I've ever seen. He creates a lot of really weird and really, really cool lists. I think this is generally the single best meta Brady deck I've ever seen. Genuinely worth playing. Tier 1 list for sure. As long as people aren't playing Luke Cage, this is a serious force in the meta. Although, again, be very, very careful against Red Skull. A good opponent will know to not soar on their Red Skull and then use Red Skull to absolutely ruin your life and take your cubes. But outside of that, this is a crazy amount of points. Let's get on to the main deck, but first, please hit that sub, like, and comment if you're willing to. It would really help us out if you're willing to help support the channel. In return, we'll give you a Marvel Snap video, at least one every single day. We are also giving away a Viv Vision. All you have to do is sub, like, and then later this video, leave a comment. What comment? Well, there's a question later this video. You answer that in the comments, and as long as you've done the other two things, you're entered to win Viv Vision, who's okay, just okay. All right, Sizer 2654. Sizer is probably, probably. He's been number one on the Infinite Leaderboard like 7 different times. Like 4 or 5 of those times are with Move. He actually climbed into the number 1 spot playing Bounce, not Move, this season. And then the weird imbalance OTA happened, and he put this together and just stopped losing. This list is completely, stupidly bonkers absurd. It puts up as much power as anything in the game while also just being very hard to predict where that power is going to land. Bounce, excuse me, I keep saying bounce. Move and bounce move are the big winners of this imbalance patch. They have proven to very easily be the single best thing you can be doing. I checked Untapped stats at top 10% infinite, and 3 of the top 4 decks were move decks. So this is just where you want to be. Sizer's version is always a good version to start when you're playing Move, because Sizer is the Move GOAT and one of the ladder GOATs as well. You can find Sizer streaming all the damn time at twitch.tv/Sizer2654. For this list, we're going to need Madam Web, Sparky, and Legion. Those 3 are your Legion. And Hellion, silly 5 drops, and Hellion, those 3 are your required cards. Wrote this slideshow up live. Not a single viewer noticed. Aranya can be Iron Fist. Merlin can be Hercules or Doctor Strange. And Galactus can be Tribunal. I.e., I took this list. I cut Merlin for Hercules and Galactus for Tribunal. And I keep winning games of Marvel Snap. It is currently my personal favorite version of any deck in the game. And it's the one I've had the most success with. Being able to like still win through the Heimdall shenanigans or drop a Tribunal with a stupidly big torch has been like an absolute cube thief. But obviously Sizer's version has done better because, you know, he's Sizer and number 1 rank. We'll look at the stats on this list in a minute, but first let's do a quick chat about what's here. So Aranya and Ghostbiter are utterly and incredibly powerful single turn movers. They are ideally hitting a Human Torch. So you will also happily hit a Dagger. You would like to move a card into Craven as well to get that card a little bigger. Madam Web is your repeatable mover, and Sparky is your big power spike. So far, so good. So Madam Web lets you pull cards in and out of her location and then get your Human Torch and your Dagger very big in the process. Sparky, with a single move, can turn Human Torch into an 18 power card, which is obviously a threat to win a lane. Another move and you have 36 power, and you've probably won a lane even in this current meta. Now, that's Dagger, that's Torch. Craven is often every bit as big as Dagger in this deck, and the reason for that is Cloak and Hellion. If you play Cloak and Hellion, especially if you then follow it up with Heimdall, Craven is going to end up a 20 plus power card, a massive monster. There are decks that can try to compete with this in power, and that's what Merlin's real use here is. A lot of the decks that try to compete with this in power are running Magic right now. They're trying to take advantage of 7 turns. Merlin is an absolute monstrosity. It gives you snap ability into those matches. It is incredibly powerful and incredibly useful to have. The other things Merlin does are less important. You'll take the extra energy. It's nice to be able to drop a card and still Heimdall, for example, on turn on turn 6. That kind of thing is useful. You'll turn a Aranya or a Ghost Spider or a Sparky that's used into a better card. Just fine. Those extra stats do matter. But Merlin's really here to mess up all the magics that are all over the place. I played 3 opponents in a row who dropped Merlin on turn 5, and 3 games in a row on stream. It's on VOD. You can see it. Not playing against this deck, but 3 games in a row that Merlin Omniversal presenced me and got rid of my Limbo before turn 7. 3 games in a row. Disgusting. Cloak and Hellion are here largely to be played on turn 5. You play them on turn 5 in the right location, and then you can move Craven and 2 other cards over to that Cloak location, making your Craven really big and setting up a Heimdall that can almost always win you that game. Now, there is one fairly major caveat here. There's one fairly major thing that's different. If you have Hellion and you know you're going to Hellion on 5, you can also, especially if you've played like your Dagger and Torch earlier, you can Cloak on turn 4. You can even Cloak and Dagger on turn 4, getting those cards out of the far right lane and making sure that you can get that power. That's yet another way to make Craven really big here. Heimdall moves a bunch of cards over for a lot of power, and then because like there's just decent stats in this list, right? Your Human Torch gets big enough to be an amazing Galactus Herald. Your Craven is pretty damn big. You have a lot of cards, Dagger, Cloak, that are just decent stats for your Galactus, so that ends up being pretty good. So Galactus just ends up being like a 20 power card. There was a point in the past when Sizer was running Infinite instead of Human Torch in one of his versions of this list, when he was running Storm and the Storm Legion War Machine combo. Galactus works just like Infinite in this list. It's just a big thing. When your opponent's trying to figure out what you do, and you move some cards here, some cards there, and then you just drop a casual 620, and there's not like that Heimdall move, it's extra cubes out of the confusion. It's a brilliant ad from Sizer. Galactus is an incredible card right now. All right. So Sizer is a 67% win rate in 110 games with this at 10,550 snap points. That is, generally speaking, what people end seasons with, and we are not even at the second weekend of the September season. That is utterly absurd and broken. This is a level of dominance rarely seen in Marvel Snap. This current OTA is just making this type of deck and the player that Sizer is unbeatable. If you've ever been waiting to get into move, there is no time like now to do so. For this list, you want turn 1 Aranya, turn 2 Madam Web over Craven, over Merlin, over Sparky, over Aranya. And you can mix and match these choices based on locations, right? Like sometimes you'll need Merlin earlier, sometimes you can Craven and like Cloak on turn 4, so you can play a different card over Craven sooner, so on and so forth. Turn 3, mover number 1. If it's Torch, you can usually snap. Turn 4, we're looking to move Torch or play another mover. Again, we have the Cloak Dagger style play. If Legion, you're going to do the Cloak and multi-move. I keep saying Legion. Hellion, not Legion. Sorry. All right, turn 5, Hellion or mover plus Craven. Mover Craven plus Cloak, right? Then turn 6, Heimdall or Galactus for steps, and you win. Enjoy your win in a game of Marvel Snap while you put up insane and massive power. Oh, a really cool turn 5 play that I like a lot is to play Cloak on the right. Craven first in whatever location, play Cloak on the right, and then Ghost Spider that Cloak out, pulling it into the Craven location, and then I can make myself a stupidly huge Craven by moving Craven and 3 other cards to the right. Plus, I already started with the 5 Craven because I Ghost Spidered the card into it. Just another little trick. There's a million of these with this list. It is right now the most dominant thing in Marvel Snap. Again, 67% win rate in 110 games is silly. This is a monster of a list. Play it, win with it, and let me know. Someone in the comments is going to be like, I can't win with this. This deck is bad. Friends, all of our brains work differently. All of our brains work differently. Some people are going to be unable to use certain top tier decks. That is perfectly fine. For the majority of people who take the time to learn this deck and who are good at Marvel Snap, this deck is going to be an absolute beast monster deck. Play it. Before we go forward, please check out twitch.tv/PulseGlazer. I am back to streaming almost every day. Please do come check it out. I'm also streaming right here on YouTube. We're trying to grow both. We're trying to get back into the streaming after the big move. So if you're willing to check it out, please do so. In addition, our season pass question is real simple. I'm recording this live on Twitch and YouTube before the patch. So I'm just going to ask, what did you think of the patch? And I'm not going to spoil anything. There's a thing in the patch that I'm specifically asking about. You should know what that is. So answer. Thanks. Next up, certain tier support on our Patreon come with on-air thanks. I'd like to say thank you to these top tier patrons, and if you'd like to join them, please check out patreon.com/snapjudgments to hear your name every day. Thank you to Jonesy Snapped 22, the great Abigail Giesland, Miss You AG, Burnout. It is mandatory. It regardless is a word. Always kind LAB who swung by for a minute on stream. Ink the Graphite Fan. I am Frostman. You sure are. Please check out Frosty on Twitch. Hota Navarrete. Prime Ryan. Check out the Prime Mind app. Ryan Burke. Berkey. Ryan Wood Snap on YouTube. Rinwrench. Time for K-Town. Go for Kev, who's here yesterday but is not today. Keltor. Caretixley, King of Questions. Koiwe, hopefully doing much better. Missed you, my friend. And Kazushi, who's been crushing Snap lately, mostly using move. And finally, the 6th K, Archangel 3K. Black Dahlia, Parafros, Goatsy, and Code are alliance leaders. Hallowed Synth. And now I'm going to go through the rest more quickly. Fat Nick, Absolute Shannon, Dirte, Casual, Dark Moogle, we've got a great deck for you later today. He even wrote up his own turn by turn. Exodia, Firehair, get ready. Mr. Kerfuffing around. Cables, Ginger Prime, Philly, Haplo, Kenny Loggins, Oda Danger Zone, The Bizza, Black Jeeves 23, X-Force V, and Skippy G, Rhyming Friends. What's up, Jessica Gamble, Mr. Slush Death, the winner of Snap Judgments League Season 1, The Care Bros Bro, The Great Kazoo, Werewolf, KFC Hoda, who refuses to be in real name town or K-Town. He's his own thing, damn it. Clam, Colonel Forbin, Rob, Silverman, David Good, Wingfield, Moo, Steven, Brian Kaufman, Tristan, Martin, Jason Butt, Matt Butt, Reshawn Smith, welcome to the group. Please, again, if you want a different name, do let me know. Corwin, John Q, and Jimmy McQ. It is Q Town. You stout, ETH, Sage, one big man is watching on YouTube. Cactus, Reapser, Steve-O131, Yo Marco, Ted Bro, Quid Pro, Joe. Please check out the Snap Decisions podcast for Snap Decisions Joe. Bickety Boom Bop. Bricks 2 Click. Hopefully you're doing well, Brixie. Green Goblin, my favorite Osborne. Unibot V2, check him out on YouTube. He is watching live too. Hi, Uni. We got Flan56, Spectrumix, Hoot, Only Fox, Matt H, DJ, Mikey Hijinks, No, Frickin' Flex, Nick, the Greek Geek, who sleeps absolutely absurd hours. Join me in mocking this. Toxic Soul King, who sleeps absolutely absurd hours. Join me in mocking this. Both of those are on Twitch, by the way. Zadric74 is also on Twitch. The King of Canada! JJ is on Twitch and YouTube. 10-Man Falcon is just on YouTube, and he is BX, baby. Thor Newman is on Twitch and YouTube and deserves your love and support. Crushing it lately. Two Ties, who does in fact wear two ties. The great Lauren Whatevs of the Snap on This podcast. The Pirate King Tucker of the Marvel Yap podcast. And Twitch and YouTube and my heart. And of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. I hope you enjoyed today's first video. Don't forget that a second is coming. Thanks so much for watching and enjoying Snap Take. Peace.